On SABC News throughout the day tomorrow. And let's go. You saw him there, Aldrin Sampear. He's in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, for us. Aldrin, you laid out the stakes. In 2007, there was post-election violence. Since then, there has been an election with no post-election violence. So everybody trying to predict which one this will resemble. Give us some of the factors that led to the violence, some of the factors leading to fear this time around.
Well, some of those factors indeed are cases of the opposition, for instance, speaking about vote rigging that could take place. And that's one of the reasons why the SABC has been coming out and assuring Kenyans that they will ensure that there is free and credible elections. You'd remember that even earlier this year, there was an SABC team that had been set up just after the Constitution, the 2010 Constitution. But then the opposition, being led by Raila Odinga, raised concerns around that crop of SABC officials, and then that crop was then replaced with the current incumbents who are now tasked with ensuring that the elections are free and fair. And indeed, stakes are high because you have Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the incumbent, who wants a second term, who doesn't want to have a one presidential term. On the other hand, you have Raila Odinga, who's also contesting the elections, but this is his fourth time contesting, and while some believe it could be his last time contesting the elections, so stakes are indeed very high. And although some people have been arguing, including the president as well as his deputy, have been arguing that there have been different formations that have been coming up in Kenya, formations that cut through the cultural lines and cut through the religious lines as well, there is an indication or some inkling that there will be people in Kenya who will be voting according to the tribal lines, even if you speak to some of the people in Kenya as well. For instance, today we were in Kibera, and most of the people there are Lu people, and it's been said that that area is a stronghold of Raila Odinga, and that's where he will be. That's where he'll be casting his votes tomorrow. So there is an indication of the sense of fear around the elections. But just listening to the acting interior, the interior secretary or the Interior Minister of Kenya speaking about that this time around that the security is up to scratch. They will not leave any stone unturned to ensure that the elections are free and fair and to ensure that there is security. About 140,000 officers that have been deployed, including officers from the wildlife, including officers from the intelligence service of Kenya. So it seems as though that the security side of things, that things are up to scratch in ensuring that the elections are free. But also listening to the number of observers that have come through, a record number, 4,000 observers that are part of these elections to observe the elections, ensure that the elections are free and fair. And if you listen to all the statements coming from the AU being led by Thabo Mbeki, the issue around peace, also listening to the former Ghanaian president, Mahama, also speaking about peace, from the judiciary up to the former U.S. Secretary of State, John Kerry. Also, the emphasis around everything is around peace. But I guess what will give it away whether or not there will be peace will be whether the results are accepted when they are announced as they trickle in, and when the SABC declares that these are the results that we have, whether the likes of Tom that I spoke to in Kibera will accept those results as they are.
Well, that leads me to my next question. I was going to say, what are the people saying? Are they suggesting that if their preferred candidate loses, they will accept the outcome? Or are you getting an inkling of a premonition of them not accepting any outcome that they oppose?
Well, if you speak to somebody like Tom, for instance, he was quite clear. He wants the opposition to win. He's a supporter of the National Super Alliance. He's a supporter of Raila Odinga. And he's quite clear. He believes that even back in 2007, even in 2013, he believes that Raila Odinga won those elections. However, though, he says it was the government of the day that ensured that Raila Odinga does not ascend to the presidency. So even if you listen to the soundbite that he gave early on when I had that interview with him, he said that the people are tired and they are willing to to die this time around. They will not accept the results if they believe that those results are rigged. So the IEBC of this country has to ensure that there is credibility to the elections, that there is transparency to the elections, and that there's nothing that could cast aspersions on the results as they would be announced after tomorrow. For instance, today we were at one of the areas, Gigiri, where we had some of the 140,000 police officials who will be deployed to the 11,000 polling stations. And unlike in South Africa, for the first time, I even tweeted about this. I took a video and I tweeted that I almost feel that I'm too close to the police officers. That we were being allowed to film as they're being briefed, to film as they're being deployed to the various polling stations. So you do get a sense that the government is trying by all means to show that the elections will be free and fair, but also to show that there will be transparency in the way that the elections are being conducted. We also see that the judiciary is coming to the party as well. At least 3 cases in the past week that have come to the judiciary, and they have made sure that those cases are put on the roll and those cases are dealt with even before the elections. So there is indeed an attempt from all the various stakeholders to give some hope to Kenyans that the elections will be free and fair, and those that have been entrusted to ensure that the elections are free and fair will uphold that constitutional mandate.
Aldrin, what about the behavior of the main 2 candidates? Are they using the language of peace? Are they calming down the mood, or is their rhetoric inflaming those possible tensions?
Well, certainly, if you listen to William Ruto yesterday when he was speaking at one of the church services that he was attending with Uhuru Kenyatta, he emphasized the issue around peace. He said that this election is an election like no other. You had Uhuru Kenyatta as well yesterday speaking about peace, saying that after you've done casting your ballot, go home, wait for the results there. There's no need to fight with your brother. Even have a meal with your brother or sister after you're done, from whichever cultural background they have, from whichever religious background that they have. This evening as well, he made the similar statement, and he spoke about the resilience of Kenyans. It was a colleague was saying now, Sarah was saying that it sounded poetic as he was delivering that speech, speaking about the resilience of this country, speaking about the history of this country, but also speaking about what would the forefathers of Kenya say, including his father. What would Jomo Kenyatta say about his son's term in office over the past 4 years? He says that as Uhuru Kenyatta, he has tried his best to ensure that he upholds and uplifts Kenyan people, as well as the development of the country as well. Listen to Raila Odinga, which was quite interesting, the tweet that was sent early on this morning, even during the press briefing as well, saying that he wished Uhuru Kenyatta all the best. I think that is the best message that you can get from a stark opponent that you have in a hotly contested election like this. Raila Odinga saying that may the best candidate win these elections. And certainly it's those type of messages that I guess that will send some hope to Kenyans that post the elections, post the results, that there wouldn't be any tensions. However, though, there is a disclaimer from the likes of Raila Odinga that if they believe that the elections are not free or fair, they will contest those results. They've also made issue around the 27% of the 11,000 polling stations not having access to 3G coverage because the votes will be sent via 3G coverage. And he raised that issue that they want all those polling stations to be listed.
Okay, thank you very much. Aldrin Sampear reporting live from Nairobi, and we'll bring you that election live tomorrow. Hugely important for the East African region. All right, let's take a look at your sporting action with Kendall.